To have a family that farms together means a lot because it comes from way back from my grandfather. And just to see how he raised his family by doing farming, it is so amazing. Now I have my family and they're ready. They want to go, especially when it's time to harvest. They love that bad. When it's time to harvest, they're ready to go. Daddy, let's go ground. Let's go pick some mangoes. Let's go get kushu and all that. And I just like from what my grandparents did and my mother did, it just grew a part of me. So I just like to just do the same thing and let my family see that there is hope in doing that. Because look at where it came from. There's a lot of hope in doing farming, and right now around the world, everything, you gotta depend on the farm, especially for food. So I think, yeah, that's where I get my passion from and love to do my farming. I do this because of my grandfather. I know he had a passion for this. I grew up, I used to come to the farm with him. He used to do like growing peanuts. He have his mango trees and everything. He used to do corns, everything, yams. And I just grew up having that in my mind. Most of his kids left for the States, Canada, England. My mom stayed back, so I was like, I'm not gonna let this go down the drain like that. I gotta do something to keep it alive. And I just fell in love in doing it, so that's why I'm trying to keep it going. Come on. Come, girls.
Well, that's from my early age. My grandmother, she died last year or so. She had what we call ground, the small plantation for small plantation. We used to call them ground. And then every morning, early morning, she would go to the ground. And on weekends, when we're not at school, she would come and say, "Who wants to go?" And then I have most of my cousins living on the other side, just opposite of us, and she would go there first, but none of them would like. So me and my sister, that's our joy. We like to go, to ground because we learned a lot from her.
My grandfather, he'll come home and he'll have his bag of peas and he'll have his bag of peanuts, and then he's like throwing them all out, and then you see he come with a plastic bag and put some here, put some there, and then he say, "Oh, take this by Mr. So-and-so." And when I take that by that other guy, I'm coming back with another bag. Maybe I have, maybe he's giving me watermelon or muskmelon. So back in those days, it was just like one hand wash the other. And that was really, that's really nice to see how they grew up and to plant and to help each other.
Everyone back then was into farming because that's the only way for them to provide. They didn't have a lot of goods coming in like we do now, so they had to survive, and that was their means of survival.
In my grandfather's days, there was a lot more rain. I think it had something to do with the climate change. It was green. Up here was like full of grass all over back then. But we don't know what's happening now in nature, so just gotta pray and hope for rain. This is the cashew tree right here, still blossoming. So what happened is we had some rain maybe about 3 months ago. So that's why we're getting some fruits now. But as you see, they still have blossoms. So if we get some more rain, now we will have cashew in another 2 months. Because we had rain earlier, so we got a little fruit first, but now they still blossom. So we need some more rain to have some more fruits a bit later. Everything right now is depending on the rain. The plants, animals, ourselves, we just want some rain right now. Yeah. Anytime you go to the village and ask about my beef, you'll get a good answer about my beef because they like that. It's tender and everything like that. But again, the younger folks, they will like easier go to the shop. They want to go quick, everything quick, just like that. But I want to change that. I want to change that. I want to bring it from right here, right out to the Barbuda, the earth right here, everything processed right here and doing it right here. So they'll get a much natural and healthier food to eat. So, before time, the older folks are living 90 days, 100 and this. Right now, a lot of young people are dying young from cancer, from all kind of things that you got to pump into the animals for them to grow fast. And so I'm trying my best to try and let them come back to our local stuff and to get that in their system so we can live longer. Everybody wants to live longer. So I'm trying my best to do that. Right now you're not getting chicken from Miami, you're getting chicken from Barbados. But they're the same type of breed that, they do with the boilers and like that. So we're trying to just let the focus be right here. Do our own breeding, do our own raising, and do everything right here. Even trying to upgrade like packaging and all that stuff. Try and do it right here, that we can instead of sending the money away, let it circulate right here. I have a cousin, he brings cargoes from Antigua, and I go down there and I help him offload his boats. And I'm like, every week you have a big garbage bag full of anchovies, a big garbage bag full of cucumbers, a big garbage bag full of sweet peppers, boxes of tomatoes. I was like, nah, we have enough land here. We don't have a lot of people. We have enough land that we can cultivate to produce our own stuff. So I think we can and we should look into that, to just produce our own stuff than to be importing stuff like that. We're supposed to be exporting because we have the land to do it.
Look at the other day when we had the boat that sank, the cargo boat that sank. We hardly had any produce for that weekend. So it's like, everything has to be brought in from Antigua, maybe from Dominica or anything. But if we had our own farmers, our local farmers, then that wouldn't happen. So if in an event of anything happening like that, whether it's a natural disaster, maybe like a hurricane or anything, and we can't get any boats to come in, cargo boats to come in, what are we going to do, for a while? So we need to start relying on ourselves than relying on other people for that. Most of the crops we plant are like tomatoes, like green peppers, sweet peppers. We do watermelon, we do pumpkins, because those are at a greater demand on the island. We choose crops that we know, we use often and the supermarkets will buy. And certain crops they prefer locally, because our local sweet pepper, it tends to last longer than the ones we import. The ones we import, it gets meshy quick, it tends to sag quick, and ours have a longer shelf life. Even if we don't freeze it or refrigerate it for a couple of days, it stays.
And it's what's Skyline. Tell him bring key. Right now I'm just praying for the rain. So we need some rain right now. I have a well and I have a pump and everything, but it's too expensive for me to pump water like every day to water these areas. So I just gotta pray for rain and hope on the rain to fall. But I love doing it, no problem. I love doing this and I don't think I'm gonna stop. I'm not gonna let my grandfather work go down. I'm gonna keep it up.